Alright guys, we may be back in business for a minute. These batteries say full. We'll see what happens. If we don't, I'll have to wait till later today to get to working on this. Alright, let's get back to what we was doing and see if this batteries will hold out for us. Alright, we got dark gray, and that's what we're going to be going with right here for his pants. And we'll use light gray for the other. Now, for those of you who know me, this is not going to be photographic realism here. This is going to be more cartoony. And I don't see a problem with that. It works. So, pull the monster's pants up. There we go. Now, we're going to do his jacket the same way. I'll leave a little bit of that black line as kind of a guide as to where we need to be. We're going to have to come in and probably put a little bit of a shade around that bottom of his jacket. So I'm not going to get too crazy with it. So, I don't know if maybe it just got a little wonky from this or that, or if it goes off this time, I'm just going to go ahead and run the next part of the, I'll go ahead and upload the first part of this. Probably could use a bigger brush, but I'm lining this out so that I can do the work on it. And if I get a little extra paint right now, it's not going to be too big a consequence. I don't want to get way too much, but a little bit. Maybe not hurt so bad. I'm going to go in and probably line the arms and stuff using my ever familiar 3-color painting method, which does serve me very well indeed. So there we go. So far, so good. That looks actually pretty nice. Alright. Let's see how this is coming. We're doing good. Okay. Let's go in for a slightly lighter shade for the shoes. And we'll use a little bit of beige for the highlights on the other side. So let's go ahead and put the core color in like we just did. Because we've already got the burnt umber in for the shading, so... Just trying to keep from stepping on the toes of the previous color. Just trying to get that done. I'll probably have to come back in with a little burnt umber anyway. We'll go for a slightly shorter, stubbier brush for this. This is line work. This ain't line work. Do I have a shorter, stubbier brush? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I'm not going to use the big one I use for the backdrops because that's just way too big and crude for what I need. I'm going to use, I'll show you just a second. I'm going to use this little blade edger brush because I can turn it on its side and get a little more surface area. And then we'll use the liner brush for the details. There we go. Now, let's go ahead and grab our light gray and clean this brush real quick. There we go. Back in the case with that one. And our battery's about to go dead again, wouldn't you know it. If it does, then we'll probably won't be able to get to the finishing of this just now. But I'm going to see if I can work right up to the last. So, bear with me a minute. If things go south, just bear with me. As sure as God made little green apples, it's probably going to kill over. There we go. Looks good. I know his shoes are a little bit mismatched. That'll be alright. Let's go ahead and get this. I gotta make hay while the sun shines. Go with a little territorial beige for the highlights on his shoes. Now, see how we're coming with that. Let's go back into the black again. Rinse this off. So I'm going to try to get as much done on this as I can for right now till we have to stop. And if I don't get this part finished, I'll put it over on the next video. Alright, now, gotta come up here. Just gonna put a little bit of a hint of his arm coming down, like so. Alright guys, we're finally back. I've got the glue gun fired up and we're going to finish this up now that I got some fresh batteries to work with. Alright, I learned something right after I got off here earlier, that I'd made a slight miscalculation. Apparently the monster is going to be looking kind of halfway out of this frame, which is okay. It looks like he's peeking around the corner. We'll give it a creepy edge to it. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I bought a new color of paint. What did I do with that? Did I bring it in here? I thought I did. No, that's territorial beige. I bought a bottle of paint and I thought I stuck it in my pocket when I came in here. Or did I? Huh. Odd. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back. Thought I'd gone crazy for a second. I thought I lost something. Alright. Well, we're going to continue this. I saw something when I got off this because of the batteries. I realized a slight miscalculation on my part. If we put this in here with you can see, the monster seems to be peeking around the corner. Not quite what I had in mind, but we'll work with it. We gotta paint his shirt. So, gotta figure out what color shirt to give him. And brown's been used. Gray's been used. I'm gonna go with a little spiced berry. Kind of give him kind of a brownish red shirt. So, got a little bit of paint on the tip of this. Up between these two. I don't want to get paint anywhere but those places, so I'll probably end up having to, there we go. We'll go with that. Now, let's go ahead and gotta wash this brush off. We're gonna go ahead and work on the collar over here. If I can get to it. Now, dipping back into the black paint for a minute. And we're going to come up here. Oh, getting water. Can't have the water. Water's not good. That's not good. So we're going to have to get rid of the water. We'll get drizzling water. Alright. Now, on the other side it'll be light gray. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side for the flared lapel. Flared lapel. Sounds like a Canadian swimmer or a skier or hockey player or something. Now. There we go. We'll give it a little more coat right in here. Make some proper highlights here. So now it's kind of touching up some of it. There we go. I like that. That'll work. Now, like I said, I know his shoes don't exactly match, but this is Frankenstein we're talking about. His feet may not even come off the same body. Alright, we're going to go in next for the core color of his face and hands. And probably the way we're looking at it, probably not going to have to do much on his hands. Let's take a look at this again, and I'll show you what I mean. See, if we place this right here, he's just going to be looking around the corner. So we're not going to have to paint a whole lot, but I am going to go in with a little green where I can, when I can, how I can. Our core is going to be palm leaf, so we're going to be using a darker green, maybe. I don't know. We might use the palm leaf as a darker green and go with, yeah, we'll go with spring green. I know it seems a little odd for Halloween, which is in the fall, but Frankenstein's green. So, actually, he wasn't initially meant to be green. He was actually supposed to be kind of a grayish color, but it didn't look right on camera in 1933's black and white technology. I'm going to give him some wrist. I don't want to put too much emphasis on it, because like I said, it's not going to show up much anyway. So let's go ahead and do his head up. So I kind of have an idea of how I'm going to do this. So because we know where the shades are at, and we know where the highlights are at. So there we go. Have an ear. Now, let's paint his hair on. We'll have to let the face dry before I can start putting in details and shading. We'll go ahead and put his hair in place. Give him that characteristic flat head, which the makeup designer, Jack Pierce, reasoned would probably be appropriate, given that Dr. Frankenstein was not a doctor. He was a medical student, so therefore his knowledge of surgery probably was not advanced enough to really give too much thought to aesthetics. So he probably just cut open his head like a box, like a snuff box, and had at. And that's what we're going to do here. There we go. Now, there we go. So far, so good. Now we're going to put up the black for a minute. I want to compare the doorway now. And then we'll work on other things while I'm waiting for Frankie's face to drop, to heal up, or to finish up. See, in order for, oh, don't get the paint smudged. Okay. See, he's going to be looking around the corner, something like that. So, we'll go with that. Alright, we're going to let him dry a few minutes. Meantime, we got to break out the scissors. And what did I do with those scissors? I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're going to work on the next part of this while we're waiting for the for Frankie to dry. Let's break out the craft foam, as I've got to cut some blocks out of it, some squares, and I'll show you how that's going to work here in just a second. Okay, we've got one, and we'll cut them probably to order, to suit as we do this. Let me push these paints back while we're waiting, while we're working on this. Move my brush back, and see, what I'm going to do is glue it in like this. Now we'll turn this over. I'm going to need a glue stick, because we're about through this magazine here. Alright, so here at least the spider webs won't, the cobwebs or the stringers aren't going to matter as much, because we're still, but I'm going to see if I can get rid of them in as much as I can. There we go. So, there's one. Go ahead and flip it back over, and we're going to cut some more out. Now, I'm going to glue one right in here. If you had a thicker board, you could probably get away with stapling them, but as it stands, I'm not going to risk it. Now, let's go ahead and put in the other windows. I'm going to cut a slightly smaller one here. That's going to fit over the back of this. Now, I would have put the loop back on it to hang it back on the wall, but honestly, considering it's going to be one-sided, I don't think that's such a great idea. So I'll probably just put a clip on it where it can be hung up on the wall. Now, get a little more craft foam. And pull this loose. Let's glue this into place here. Now, let's grab and cut another one of these out. And it's got to be a smaller one, so we can deal with the windows. Now, There we go. Now we got one more to do. Then we can start working on the other side of the piece. Let me cut this down. Now, that might work. Now, let's see. This last one's the smallest window, so we got to be real careful. Let's see. Now, pulling these loose. Let's do a little artwork on this dude. We're gonna go ahead and put on the shutters and things. So let's go ahead and attempt to put on some shutters. So first thing let's do is I've got this end of a big popsicle stick, and we're going to use that because that would make a very nice set of shutters. Let me see here. Now I've got to be very careful here. Not perfect, but careful. Now, as you can see, these make very serviceable shutters. Now, so what we're going to do is we're going to put a little glue right here. We're going to glue some shutters on. Now, it doesn't matter if they're perfect. This is a abandoned house. It's going to be spooky. We'll give this one slightly ajar like it's loose. That one there. We'll see how many of these I can do up. Now, cut this down. So we're going to go ahead and this one here I'm going to lay slightly askew. Like it's like the shutter is broken or the hinges or something are broke. And kind of give it an edge of looking slightly dilapidated. So let's see. Another one like that, and this one here is actually the perfect size. So we'll cut it in half like that. Popsicle sticks make a good thing for this. Now we're going to glue one like that. And we're going to glue one like this. And we'll have this one leaning slightly up like that. We got one up here that can go in place. I might end up having to cut one more jumbo up, but that's okay. Okay, now go ahead and glue these shutters into place. And yeah, I know it's a little early for Halloween, but since the Halloween stuff's out, might as well make the most of it. And it'll give me a little chance to kind of get ahead of the pack on this stuff. Now, I need one more set of shutters. Now, this one here is just a tad shorter than I need. So I'm going to have to dip in over here, and we're going to grab one of these jumbos and cut it to size. And keep the other half of it. I've got some ideas for that. Alright, let's go ahead and cut this down. My other half here. Maybe a tad shorter. There we go. Now, up the middle. There we are. Now we're going to glue this one. I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to glue this one shut on this side. And this one open on this side. And I do got to have one more. That's going to be this window down here, downstairs. There we go. Let me grab this, make sure it fits. Perfect fit. Cut it in half. Now we're going to... Now, we are going to be using some googly eyes too, so there we go. Now, let's break out our paints. And a paint rag. So let's go ahead and use the wood or the gray coloring. I'm going to have to be very gentle with it. I'm not going to use my pinpoint brush, but we will be using, let's see how many minutes we got left. Oh, we're doing good. We got 10 more minutes. Alright. So, I'll go ahead and use a little bit of this gray paint. A bit more of it. Need a little bit more. Yeah, I hear that splinter right there. Now, a little bit more. Get a little bit of this here and get control of this rag. Use just your finger, kind of do this. Just barely tap it. Same thing over here. Now, let's do this again. Now, oh, we got a stringer. It's got to go bye-bye. No, don't stick to my finger, thank you. Now, got a splinter right there. That's going to go bye-bye, thank you. Let's see, this actually, this measure here kind of brings out the details a little bit. Let me see, we got 7 minutes. We're doing pretty good, making pretty good time. Now, I gotta get rid of that. There's a stringer in that window that's gotta go bye-bye. Now, see, I know I don't talk a whole lot when I'm doing this, just kind of concentrating a little. Right now what I'm doing is basically just painting these shades to kind of, these shutters, to kind of give it a little bit of, to give this collage a little bit of depth. I'm not quite as good at this as some, but it's an art I really didn't appreciate till the art show they had up in Henry County. I took 3rd place, but I got beaten by a collage. So I figured maybe it was worth looking into. Since then I've realized they're not as easy as they look to put together. So I've earned kind of a respect for people who can do a good collage. Because it's in some ways as tricky as painting or any other art form. Organization is the key to kind of do what you're wanting to do. And yes, I know I covered my spider, I obscured the spider part way, but that's okay. It gives it character. It means that it doesn't look like it was planned. Which makes it a little more natural. By the time I'm done with these shutters, it should be time to finish up Frankie and put him in place. You can see it's coming along. Got a little bit more up here. I don't like it being white, so I don't want any of this new wood showing in as much as I can. So gotta weather this a little bit. So there we go. Now, see, it's coming along beautifully. Toss this off. Now, I'll touch up this first one down here. I can still see some wood coloring through it, and that won't do. Like I said, this is supposed to be dilapidated. It should not look like there's any fresh timber on it. There we go. And we'll do a little bit of detail work on that, and I just dropped my paint rag. Alright. We'll lay this up here for a few minutes to dry. Let me put my brush in the water. Slide it around here. I'm going to restart this video because we're running low on time.